if you're watching this video, you're probably watching it because for us, like N55 guys that aren't rocking an F30, there's not a lot of material. You know, if you have a 535, 640i, an X5 with the N55 motor, or an X6 with the N55 motor, there's not a lot of content that talks about modifying that car, especially when it comes to downpipes. In fact, there's actually not a lot of options, and our options are quite a bit more expensive than the F30 guys. So we don't quite have it as good. So I did a lot of research trying to figure out the right route to go. And I'll explain my particular use case. But obviously with downpipes, there's two directions that you could go. There's Catless, which is less expensive, and there's Catted, which is quite a bit more expensive. So what are the differences between those two options? Obviously, if you're going for peak performance and peak sound, Catless is probably the direction that you're leaning towards. However, if you want that kind of middle ground where you do want more performance, but you may want to pass either emissions or you don't want the smell, the Catted is probably the way to go. And as far as sound, it's not as loud as a Catless, but from all the research that I've read, it's more refined, and also all the things I've heard as far as the Catless and Catted, it's a more refined sound versus the Catless, which is a little bit more throaty, a little bit more pops, a little bit more drone, a little bit more rasp. This one is just a little bit more refined. And I have a bunch of friends that have Catless downpipes, and I just can't get over the smell. So for me, my particular use case, I wanted to go with the Catted downpipe. Even though it is more expensive, this is the route that I definitely wanted to go. So the big kind of elephant in the room is, of course, check engine light. So if you're concerned about check engine light, unfortunately, with any downpipe, you're probably going to get a check engine light if you don't flash tune your car. The only brand of downpipe that is guarantees that you won't get a check engine light is Fab Speed. So Fab Speed is the only brand that claims that you won't get a check engine light with their downpipe. However, and this is kind of in the realm of maybe you get what you pay for, which applies to almost everything in life. A Fab Speed downpipe is like $1,500, but it makes sense. They're one of the biggest names in performance, and they do a lot of quality parts for exotic cars and everything like that. So you get an amazing downpipe, build qualities is impeccable, and a guaranteed no check engine light. For me, I'm not quite ready to virginize my DME. I'm still under warranty, and I just don't want to cross that line yet. I have a JB4 on running map 5, and I just want a little bit more sound. You know, us 5 Series and 6 Series guys, our cars are so insulated. They're so much NVH. You don't really hear anything. And so this is the route that I wanted to go, just because I wanted the sound. I wanted just a little bit more performance, but also I didn't want all the compromises that you get with the Catless downpipe. So the different brands. Just getting into it. And I'll talk about this brand in a little bit. So there's a bunch of different brands, a bunch of eBay brands if you want to go with like Catless downpipe. But for Catted, there's really only a couple. You got Fab Speed, you got AR Design, you got Evolution Racing, and I think VSRF makes one. Those are the big boys. Fab Speed's $1,500, AR and ER, and VSRF, they float between $750 to $1,000. This one is about the price of a Catless downpipe. This is less than $500, which is insane for, you know, N55, 5 Series, 6 Series, X5, X6 guys. Just because for a Catted downpipe, we're used to paying $1,000, and this is less than $500. And to be honest with you, the build quality is amazing. The welds are really nice. The beads are beautiful. It's this awesome polished finish. This is a 200 cell downpipe. And this is made by RVG, and this is not like sponsored. They don't even know that I'm making this video. No affiliation with them. So I was pleasantly surprised to come across this downpipe, and just it looked like a really good downpipe, and it catted for under 500 bucks. That, to me, that's a steal. Don't know how it's going to fit. Don't know how it's going to perform. Don't know much details yet, but I'll do another video, do sound clips, do everything, show the install process. So yeah, so going back to the check engine light scenario deal. All right, so obviously they don't guarantee no check engine light, and every other catted downpipe, it seems like you're gonna get a check engine light regardless. So, and if you're not doing a flash tune, like, what can you do? A bunch of people throw a bunch of things out there, an elbow 90-degree thing, spacer. For our car, a lot of people say that's not recommended because the O2 sensors that are used here are so reliant on determining our air-fuel ratios, and if we don't have it done right, then we're probably going to throw a CEL anyway, or we're going to be running extremely lean. And if that's the case, we're probably going to burn out this cat pretty quickly. And in most catted downpipes, the cats aren't made to last forever. Most cats aren't made to last forever, but in this particular case, it's the same. So is there a way to get around it? And I told you my scenario. I don't want to go flash tune. You can do a spacer. Will it work? I don't know yet. So stay tuned and find out. Some people say that it works until you run it too hard, but on this one, you can't go the full. So it's very sensitive. So a lot of Beamer guys that run a spacer with the catted downpipe, it's messing around with a bunch of things to get it to the point where the O2 sensor heats up about the time that it should, so it doesn't throw any errors there. But also, it's not, it's close enough that it heats up quick enough, but not close enough where it's not doing too much of an inaccurate reading. So you have to space it, and you have to basically figure out that happy medium of doing it where you don't throw a CEL, and then you do throw a CEL. So there's that happy medium. So the way that I'm gonna go is I'm gonna go to AutoZone and get one of their defoggers, spacers, pretty small, and probably space it about maybe 10 to 25 millimeters. I will figure it out. My buddy owns a shop here in town, and he's going to help me install this. So we already talked about the CEL. Here's the thing with the N55 guys. There's two different types of N55 downpipes, right? So of course there's for our chassis, there's EWG and PWG, and of course the E chassis before. But EWG and PWG are basically the variations of the two downpipes for our cars. EWG, of course, is the newer one. The downpipe is larger. So the diameter is, on the EWG, is, let's see here. It should be, I hope this is right. This is 3.5 inches. So maybe it's this side, or maybe not. This is 3 inches. 3 inches here. Okay. So this is, and the build quality is so amazing on this, guys. Like the finish, like on a lot of, and I'm straying off topic here, but a lot of times when you get a piece like this, you get metal shavings all over, and you can feel the burr. It's because the edges haven't been deburred. But here, it's smooth all the way around. So the EWG is a 4-inch, and the PWG is a 3.5. So you cannot fit a PWG downpipe on an EWG and vice versa. That's something to be aware of I was told that this is EWG. Now, I'm not too sure, and I gotta double check and make sure before I take this to the installer and we do things there. Cost and installation. So this is the final part. If you're installing this downpipe, something to be aware of, if you're going to take it to a shop, which I probably recommend, it's going to take, shop hour wise, look for a shop that will do it in 2 hours. And depending on the shop and how much they charge per shop hour, it ranges anywhere from $125 an hour to basically $200 depending on your region. It could be more, or it could be even less. So 2 hours is kind of what you're aiming for. They may charge you 4, just because when you bring your car to the shop, they'll probably put it on a lift and it has to sit at least 2 hours to cool down before they can remove the cat that's on your car now, or the downpipe that's on your car. So total cost can vary between 2 and 4 hours. Try to go for the shop that charges you 2 hours, but just know that's kind of the situation. And depending on the shop, that's something that you're going to have to figure out in your region. So I'll give you guys a bunch of B-roll just to show you guys the impeccable build quality of this downpipe. And I just want you guys to subscribe, leave a comment. Did this help? You know, do you rock an N55 X5? What are your mods? Just let's start a conversation, you know, and do you have a check engine light? Do you have a downpipe? How did you get past the check engine light? Do you flash tune? What type of power numbers you're doing? I want to know. So that concludes it. So stay tuned. I'm going to do so much with this as far as content for the next video, so you guys will get a deep dive as far as what is necessary to install it, how to get over a check engine light, did it work for me, my thoughts and impressions, the smell, the sound. Do you feel the difference? Is it worth it? And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Picture matches. It says 4-inch f10. Looks identical. I guess this is a downpipe.